Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
We all know those GLP-1 injections work wonders, but that price tag almost gave me a heart attack when my insurance denied coverage. I was staring at a choice between paying my mortgage or paying for weight loss. Talk about a rock and a hard place. Then I found Elevate Health compounded semaglutide at just $58 with payment plans that don't require a second mortgage. Same medication, same results, but a price that real folks can actually afford. Visit joinelevate.com today. That's JOINELEVATE.com. Your wallet will be as happy as your waistline. This medication is not FDA approved.
Welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast. Today, we're diving into a very special topic of mine. You know, I love to talk all things manifesting, creating your dream life. And, well, I have someone who inspires me greatly, who has, you know, since I've met him, has inspired me to be a better person, which I'm very happy that he's on the pod today. So Alex, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Alex, funnily enough, got run over by a duck this morning on the way, which we were just laughing about.
Not run over, a duck flew into my bike wheel as I was getting here.
Yeah.
And I'm alive, so I'm really grateful.
Face planted into the floor. Grateful for life, you know. Grateful for ducks and grateful for Lime bikes, aren't we all?
Yeah,
so
wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet.
I didn't.
I don't wear a helmet.
I know, me either.
It's really bad. Wear a helmet on the Lime.
Yes.
But yes, today we're diving into the topic of creating your dream life. Alex you are basically, well, the creator of Intelligent Change and also the creator of the 5-Minute Journal alongside Mimi, your ex-partner, but you guys are still really good friends.
Besties.
She was also on the pod.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to come after.
I know. One after the other. But today we want to dive into creating your dream life. And I think, you know, since meeting you, we connected over Instagram. Alex DM'd me on Instagram about something.
Slipped into the DMs. No?
Slid into his DMs, not in a weird way. But then I checked his Instagram and I was like, oh my God, he created the 5-Minute Journal. And then we got lunch and then I went to Mimi's seminar, which was all about the life, one of your books from
Life
Intelligent
Designer.
Change. Yeah, it's called The Life Designer. And we did a whole day's workshop basically designing our future life, which was really inspiring. And it definitely inspired me to, you know, be the best version of myself. And for the people that are listening, if you're listening right now and you're kind of frustrated or you're kind of like, I don't know how, I want this amazing life and I just don't know how to get there. You are here to kind of give your insight on how to create that dream life and design your dream life. And, you know, with Intelligent Change, you also have products that help you get there, like the Life Designer Journal. So just one question before we start. Do you believe you have your dream life now?
I think it's always evolving.
Yes.
I'm definitely living my dream life, but sometimes your dreams do turn into nightmares. And you're like, oh crap, I don't want this trip, and you want to get out of it. However, you're able to navigate those things, and it's something we can get into. Mm-hmm. But for sure, in many ways, I'm living my dream life. Mm-hmm. But as you know, like Mimi's been on the pod, part of my journey has been that dream that we had was a little sidetracked by losing, you know, somebody that you love. And I know a lot of what you speak about on the pod is about heartbreak.
Yeah. So you and Mimi were together, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, big journey. And so coming out of that has definitely been a shock. However, I think the way we've navigated our separation,
it's incredible. Like, it's crazy how you stayed so close.
And the path that we're going on, I think even more is guiding us towards the ultimate truth of the life that we should be living.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
How did you get into this whole world? Like, what started you, starting Intelligent Change and, wanting to, because obviously you started off doing YouTube.
Started in banking, actually.
Banking. Okay, right. Finance. So proper finance bro over here.
Well, I try to be.
Yeah. But then how did you go from that to, making all this money from YouTube with Mimi and stuff? How did you then go from that to going into something a lot more holistic, a lot more wellness, a lot more impactful to the society that we live in?
Great question. So I think it all starts in a dark place, as many light journeys.
So true.
And
so true.
And I think it's important to speak about it because people who may be watching this or listening to this, you may be in a dark place, or you may be thinking like, yeah, easy for you both to say, coming off of Fashion Week, coming off from Maldives, you guys, living this life.
We didn't get there just by chance.
Well, that's what we're here to speak about. Oftentimes, I think there's a misconception about even myself. On surface, when you look at me, you're like, he's so privileged, and he's always been easy for him. In reality, I grew up, the equivalent of a council and state, welfare, single mother, 2 kids, just trying to survive. So from my kind of dark periods of my life is really from the age of like 10 to 17. And, for different people, there's different chapters in their life when you're being tested and when you feel the whole world's against you. And for me, it was very early in my life. And then I got into, when your parents are not as present because they're just trying to provide for you. I was a street kid. So, people may not know, but I was really deep in the kind of street culture. I used to, deal drugs. I used to smoke a lot of weed.
No way.
Drink, smoke. Like when I was like 12, 13 years old.
Whoa.
Like very young. And then I'll get expelled from school for dealing weed.
That's crazy.
Gambling.
What?
Yeah. I know. That's why when people are like, what?
You went dark. You went real dark.
But it culminated with a point where I got arrested.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what?
Arrested for what?
Well, it was. I'm gonna keep it private, but
right.
I think.
Okay.
I think I'm very grateful I was underage, and I'm very grateful that I had a mother who truly, deeply had unconditional love for me. So even though I was doing the stupidest things ever. And sometimes we do those things. I have a daughter now, and you're like, sometimes I know in the future she might do stupid things where I've
done stupid things. I went backpacking and touched Thailand for 3 months on my own as a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah, but you survived.
I survived. I don't know how. There were several near-death experiences.
Exactly. Like me getting...
Yeah, like nearly getting run over by a duck. Yeah. Well, getting run over by a duck.
So
anyway.
For me, it really, when I was in court and my mother was there, and it was I think sometimes you listen to this hip hop culture and you're like, hey, this is cool, but then you're actually faced with it and you're like, like I'm actually here, and my life is not going the way that I wanted to go.
Right.
And being in court with my mother and looking at other youth like myself without really, you can see they have no hope. You can see they already said kind of like, screw the system. I'm against this whole thing.
Right.
And no one understands me. And they're just like, whatever. And this is just part of the journey. I was like, I don't want to be here. This is not me. This is not about my path. And of course, I have to take responsibility for, for the choices that I made. And, it wasn't, like I said, the crime wasn't that big. I just had to do some community service. However, it was a very important lesson to be in a place where, hey, if you go down this path, that may just be you. Do you want to be the youth without that glimmer of, life in your eyes?
Yeah, but it's the same with anyone. Even if you haven't particularly been arrested or gone to jail or done all these bad things, like, if you're listening right now and you kind of are at a point of like, you don't have any hope, how can you get out of that? And like, how did you do that?
So for myself, then, in the midst of all of this, then also my stepfather died, then my father died of cancer, and it took about 3 months. So I saw him slowly wither away, you know, from being a healthy man to all of a sudden, you know, just before our eyes, just deteriorating.
In 3 months.
In 3 months.
Wow.
And so that was I know it's getting dark on your podcast, you know, but I think it's important to speak about, because this is where intelligent change really comes from. It comes from a lot of suffering and understanding that, and what we're going to speak about is that how you can go from a place of darkness
and pain
and suffering, and thinking of like, why is the whole world against me? Being a victim and being like, you know, there's no hope to a certain degree, to be able to create and live the life that I've lived already so far, you know, is incredible.
Yeah.
And it all started with really, I think, when you confront death, and many of us, I think we don't want to think about it. We don't want to like touch upon it. Even now you may be like, I'm just going to pause this podcast. This is not for me. But I encourage you to keep going, because once you have that confrontation, you realize how special life is, how magical life is. And what I see in most people have forgotten just how incredible this experience of life is.
Yeah, but also we forget that tomorrow is not guaranteed. You know, we just assume that tomorrow's going to come or next week's going to come, and like, but it's true. The duck. You could have died today.
I could have died today.
Death by duck. Like literally, Alex, death by duck. You have another chance to live, Alex. How does it feel?
It feels incredible.
Yeah.
But however, that's, you know, you bring it up, but many times I feel we only start seeing the beauty of life when we lose something.
100%.
When we lose somebody, or even, you know, I was snowboarding and I injured my finger and I had a cast on my finger for 2 months. And I'm like, you know what? Like, wow, that little finger is so incredible when it just moves.
It's the same when you're sick. You're like, fuck, I wish I appreciated being able to breathe. You know?
Be able to like get out of bed and move.
Yeah.
And so this, where it all connects to, you know, with the first product that we've created, which is the 5-minute journal. And it was created many years after, when my whole journey into, you know, self-development really began, was coming across Tony Robbins. And this was my first foray into self-development. And it was the first time anybody spoke to me about, hey, you should practice gratitude. And you should also have goals in life and look for what you can create, and then vision and visualize the future that you want to live, even though you're in a counsel state. How do you see yourself living this life of traveling the world and being in these beautiful places when you're actually not there at all?
Well, yeah. I mean, for the listeners who are listening now, you're probably not in a nice, or maybe you are, but like maybe you want something more out of your life. But it's like, how what's stopping you from getting there? What's making you not get there and someone else get there, for example, like creating that dream life?
It's all mindset. And that's what happened for me. I slowly then started practicing the simple thing of, and this is what I encourage everyone to do, is the simplest thing that you can do is just when you wake up in the morning and just think to yourself, what's one thing that I'm grateful for today as I wake up? And if you get in the habit of doing that, that's what happened with me. All of a sudden, my life began to change.
So it started with gratitude.
Just a simple, that's all it started with. It's just me in the morning saying to myself, I'm grateful for, and listing some things. And all of a sudden, I changed around from being this, you know, 17-year-old thinking I'm such a loser, to being like, wow, I'm 17 and I live in Canada. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Like any 80-year-old billionaire would trade places with me in a second. You know, to be able to restart life and to be able to begin, amazing. And whatever your position is in life may be, if we start practicing gratitude and appreciation, and at first it may be so mundane. You're like,
and it may sound silly, you know, trying to convince yourself that you're grateful for something. It's almost like fake it till you make it.
Exactly. But your mind is like a muscle. You know, the thing is, we think of going to the gym, you know, if you want to build muscle, you have to work out. You have to somehow train your body. We don't have that same relationship with our mind. is that in order to be able to have the mindset of abundance, of possibility, you have to practice it. And this is why we refer, the 5-minute journal as the toothbrush for your mind. You brush your teeth every morning and night. Why do you do that? Because you know that if you stop brushing your teeth, all the germs will grow. No one's going to want to kiss you.
No one's going to want to kiss your bad breath. Thank you.
And it's not like, hey, I've been brushing my teeth for 30 years and now I can just stop brushing my teeth.
You got to keep doing it.
You got to keep doing it. Because the moment you stop, all the
cavities
stuff start growing.
Yeah.
And the same thing is actually in your mind. If you're not constantly practicing mindfulness or things like gratitude, the society all around you is just telling you how scary the world is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
How everyone's going to screw you over, how the world is ending, how's all this stuff. And so you've been conditioned and trained. And the media has got your attention because they know evolutionary, the way we are designed as human beings, is we have a negative bias.
Really?
Of course. Because think about it. How's nature intended for you? To help you like thrive and be happy all the time, or to survive? Like we only now are getting to a place as a species. Like humans are animals, it's only in a blink of time that we didn't even have toilets a little over 100 years ago.
Yeah, we didn't even have a warm shower until 50 years ago.
Yeah, most kids would die, or women would die giving birth. This is recent. I'm not talking, and if you think about how long we've been around in this new society where we're watching, scrolling, and doing social media, it's very recent. Your brain is just designed to like help you survive and not die.
Right.
It's not there designed to be like, you should be happy all the time. You'll be guided. Your feelings and emotions will guide you towards a certain direction. However, we also have to do the work in regards to helping guide that experience of life by reminding ourselves of the good that exists. And the 5-minute journal, again, was designed with this idea of part of your mind is there's a reticular activating system, RAS, R-A-S. I don't know if you ever heard of this.
No.
Yeah, so because when we were creating this product, I'm like, I want some science to be able to back this up, this practice and what we're doing. So the reticular activating system in your brain activates once you become aware of something. So now I told you the story about, let's say, the 5-minute journal. Maybe you've never heard of the 5-minute journal before. You never even recognized it. And all of a sudden, you'll go on TikTok next time or on Instagram.
Start seeing it.
You'll start seeing it, of course. And the way the algorithm works as well, right? It'll start feeding you what you're paying attention to.
Right. So where your attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, there's no good men, all men are bastards. Well, that's
what you're going to see.
That's what your mind's going to see.
Yeah.
But if you start seeing, communicating that, hey, I'm grateful for men and how kind they are.
Well, that's what I've been doing recently. So I've been single for a year now, and I used to have this mindset of men ain't shit. And if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I was toxic, but I went through that. It was part of my journey. I had to have those really bad relationships in order to have a breakdown, in order to then break through to be in the mindset that I am at now. And I realized, and I think this is another thing that will help you create your dream life, is how important the words that come out of your mouth are, including the thoughts, but words as well. And I used to, gossip with my girlfriends and be like, oh my God, men ain't shit. Like, men are trash. Like, they're all liars. They're all cheaters. What do you think you're going to see? What do you think you're going to attract? What was I attracting? I was attracting narcissists. I was attracting, guys who just cared about materialistic value and who cared about the superficiality of things. And that's one element of it. And I do think there's another element of you attract what you are. Like, I definitely think I had narcissistic tendencies in me, which I put my hands up to. But I think now I've started saying, and like, it feels so dumb at first because I'm sitting there being like, there are so many amazing guys out there. Like, every man is a gentleman. And, you're laughing because it's like, you don't really want to say that because it's not natural for me to say that. But the more I've been saying to myself, there are so many nice guys out there who would want to take me out, who want to wine and dine me, treat me like a princess, treat me like a queen that I am. Guess what happened?
You started attracting those.
Started attracting the last few months, like since November, I'd say, such like even just male friendships, you know, like even you, like when we met, I was going through like a transition period, and like since I met you, which was in like around November last year. So this was like what, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, and I gifted you the 5-minute journal.
Yeah, you did. You did. Changed my life. And the life designer did as well. But I've just been attracting, because right now I'm definitely, I would say I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and I want to fall in love again. That's kind of my intention right now. I want to be in love again. It's been 5 years that I've felt love for romantically with a man, and I would like to feel that again. And I think a step towards that, if this is something that you're also looking for, is you have to start speaking it into existence and speaking the words that you wish to see, which is, I'm so lucky that I experience such kind men that would, you know, give the whole world to me, and that would treat me with respect my boundaries, are not pushing me to have sex with them, that are, you know, making me a better person, you know, doing fun things. Like right now, I'm not really into dinner dates anymore. I just find it quite like an interview. And I'm actually doing things like ice bath dates and going and like,
that's cool.
Like activities, like fun things
that you want to do.
That I want to do. And also it just kind of cuts to the bullshit of like, okay, now you're going to see me without makeup. We're going, and I had a lot of hate on this on TikTok actually, because I said I was going on a date, going swimming with a guy. And they were like, that's such a red flag, Chiara, that you're going swimming on a second date with a guy. Like they're going to see your body, and like, that's such a red flag. And I'm like, I don't think that's a red flag at all. Like this person's going to see me for me. Doesn't mean I'm going to have sex with them. Doesn't mean I'm going to even kiss them. But it's like, I'm not interested in getting dressed up, wearing my most expensive jewelry, you know, wearing my watch, wearing my, you know, nice designer outfit to go and sit in a restaurant where everyone's watching each other. It just doesn't interest me anymore.
I think it doesn't interest anybody.
It interests a lot of people. Yeah. You know, some girls are, as you said, they have that checklist of like, they must pick me up and take me for dinner, and they must pay the bill, and they must blah, blah, blah. You know, don't get me wrong, there's chivalry, but then there's just having so many, they must do this and that. And it's not just, life isn't on paper.
We're just going to take a pause there, and we'll be back after this break.
How do we get to the dream life? So to get to that point, I think firstly is to acknowledge the place where you're at. So for me, it was recognizing, you know, I am a loser. And kind of like, I'm just saying, like, you know, like you have to acknowledge at that point.
The way you said that.
But I'm just like, I was saying you have to, like at that point, because you can be a little, say, delusional, right? But like at that point where I am, I'm not working on myself. I'm also not, you know, not working on my mind or body. At that point, I was just drinking, smoking, you know, like.
Not looking after yourself.
Not looking after myself. So you have to meet yourself where you're at. And because there's no point of lying to yourself. So if you meet yourself where you're at, and you can be, like, hey, you're out of shape.
Or like writing a list.
If you want, yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
Lists.
However, I think acknowledging and taking responsibility that you're not happy with yourself. And once again, this may, to people listening or watching this, like, what the hell? How is this guy on the 5-minute show telling me about death and about writing things that where you're at and what things are not right with you? But hey, once you acknowledge where you're at and you take responsibility for that, that's when you can start to begin to change.
Right.
Because oftentimes you can say all the affirmations that you want to yourself, right? But if you're not acknowledging where you're at, you're not able to then propel yourself and move forward in that direction and get yourself. So, because sometimes you have to get also a little angry with yourself. Feel like, you know,
how did I get here?
Yeah, how did I get here? And then you start with the gratitude. You start with the affirmations. On that journey, you have those as your practices. And so for me, once you activate that reticular activating system in your brain, and you start also then beyond, you acknowledge, but that doesn't mean you stay there. You start then acknowledging the good parts of yourself. You start acknowledging, okay, what do I have? And you also, one of the tricks is also being grateful for things that you may not have yet and stating it in the present tense.
So kind of like saying, for example, so you want the dream partner, let's say. I'm so grateful that I have my dream partner, or I'm so grateful that I have someone that really cares about me. Or if it's like you want a house, I'm so grateful for my house, and speaking it into, I guess, existence, speaking in the present moment as if you already have it.
Exactly. I think it's very important to state that. So for example, you'd be like, I'm grateful I'm in a romantic, loving relationship with the partner of my dreams.
But I have one question. Yeah. Do you think that in order to attract that, because this is something I've been dealing with, you have to become that?
Of course. It's always like that. And it's all a journey. So again,
and that's hard as well to take accountability for, to be like, I want to attract someone who's into their fitness, who doesn't really drink, but then you're going out every weekend and getting fucked up. Like,
exactly. So for myself on my own journey, once I started having that practice, I then attracted Mimi into my life. I do believe once you are able to change your beliefs and your mindset, the world will then start showing you a different light.
Oh, completely.
All of a sudden, I started going, being, drunk and high, to all of a sudden being around, beautiful, nice, kind people. But as you said, I had to become that. I had to exude that energy.
And that's where the real work is.
Yeah, and then when I got a job at the bank and I met Mimi, and then what we saw in each other and acknowledged in each other at that point is a future vision of ourselves and the life that we wanted to live. We saw that together, and that's what brought us together. We weren't perfect.
No one is.
And we were on our journey. However, in each other, we saw like, hey, you want the same kind of journey as I do. Let's team up and let's go on this journey together. And this is what I want to bring up to you, because you were asking me some questions before. I think many people nowadays, they want the finished product now. Right. Especially as you get older, you're like, well, like he should already come in my life and be perfect and also understand all my emotions and boundaries and be understanding. Yeah, potentially. However, I do believe one of the most beautiful things that can happen, and this is what happened to me in my life, and this is the beauty of also being young. When you're young, you're a bit more naive. You had less heartbreaks, so you're more open. And we had this beautiful, naive love that we went into this world. And what really helped us bond was really this vision of the future that we want to build. And I think the importance of any relationship that you're building is really the values and the vision of the life that you want to build together. Yeah. And you get that through, of course, talking, communicating. And for us, being able to do that, design it, and then create it, has been one of the most beautiful journeys that we have taken. Right. And again, it actually happened in the banking. I got fired then. And again, we were out of work for like 2 years. So it's not like we just started this overnight success and became multimillionaires right away. It took time. And again, it took setback. And then we were able to make our dreams a reality.
One thing I want to ask is, when you're creating your dream life, how do you stay out of that scarcity mindset? Because when it comes to like, I guess, affirmations and saying like, I have this dream house and blah, blah, sometimes it can be a little bit too much out of your reality. How can you make it so that it's still digestible for you to achieve, and also so that you're not focusing too much on the fact that you don't have that? Because that's something that can stop you from creating and manifesting that dream life, because you're almost putting the energy on the fact that you don't have that you stop it from creating itself. Yeah. Like you want the dream partner, but you're putting so much emphasis on it that it almost runs away from you. Does that make sense?
I think there's so many directions we can go here. Where I am at now myself in life, even with the challenges and the setbacks that we get dealt, even when we're living our dream life, I realize everything is perfect. life is just beautiful and it's perfect in its messy ways and its whatever ways, and accepting again where you're at and where you are at on your journey, and it's a perfection of life. This has took me a very long time to get to this place of doing many things, of building businesses, of selling a business, of making tens of millions of dollars, and then realizing, you know what? I'm actually perfect just the way I am without any of that stuff. And the reason I'm saying that to your question, even in building up that scarcity, I hang around billionaires and I can see that many times it never stops. Meaning a billionaire can still be in scarcity. I've met billionaires in scarcity.
Scarcity, like they just don't think that their billions are enough.
They're actually not generous, they're cheap. They think the people are after them. And do you want to live your life that way?
No.
Even if you're a billionaire, I wouldn't.
No.
Right? And you can have somebody who's, has 50 pounds in his Revolut or whatever, but he's the most generous person there is. And with that spirit of life and generosity and fun.
Yeah.
And so for me, most importantly is understanding and getting to that place of, as I was saying before, accepting yourself and loving yourself and be like,
okay,
hey, and I'm okay where I am. Because the people oftentimes who become really wealthy are the ones also who don't care. They're not attached to the wealth. They're building because they want to be building this thing, or they become famous just because they're really into their art.
Yeah.
And our society right now really focuses on people who, many times we're thinking like, hey, if I just focus on money, I'll just make a lot of money. Hey, you may do that and it may not bring you to what you want to bring.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously, I think the most important part is being able to connect to the side of yourself of what do you actually really want? And it may take you some time to go on that journey to get there. So for myself, I was building my initial business from scarcity. However, it was, I would say, realistic scarcity. When we created our first business, Luxy Hair, our goal was to not make millions of dollars. Our goal was to make $1,500 each. So so accumulated together, we would just make $3,000. We're like, hey, if we can make $3,000 a month, which would be $36,000 a year, and we go to like Thailand, and we don't have to work for corporate, this is the life.
Yeah,
this is great. So that's all we need. And we then started creating with that attitude. One of my favorite books of all time is Lynchpin by Seth Godin. And there he speaks about when you're creating or doing something, doing it as you're giving gifts to the world, that you're delivering value to others. The moment that I actually started thinking about not myself and what I need and my scarcity, and I started thinking about what can I give to the world, how can I deliver value to others, all of a sudden I started making millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's also tapping into what you intuitively are driven towards. And that doesn't mean that, it will be overnight, but you have to keep going towards that light that you feel within, the direction that you sense, like this is the direction that I want to be. And your body and your sense of intuition is probably one of the most important things to listen to in your life.
So just, I guess, listen to yourself and also accept where you are in order to get to where you want to be. I mean, obviously, I personally would love, that dream relationship. But in order to get there, I need to have that dream relationship with myself and also accept where I am now. And I feel like the less I am like in this scarcity mindset of like, oh, I don't have that, the more I enjoy my life and the more I attract like really nice people in it. Whereas if I'm constantly in this like desperation mode, when you try to like, what's that thing that you put your fingers in? It's like a Chinese thing, and you like, if you pull, you can't get out of it. When you pull too hard and you really force yourself out, you actually can't. It's only when you relax that actually you're able to pull it out of your fingers. So that's when you surrender and you release, that's actually when the good things come into your life. Obviously working hard and taking action, but also surrendering at the same time and letting go.
I think also as a partner, just that example, even for me, when I got out of, my marriage, and I felt this also sense of like, I need somebody to fulfill me to a certain degree. And I can honestly say I was chasing relationships to feel whole.
That's what I've been doing for the last 5 years.
And now, you know, I've been in a few relationships. I've also got into an incredible relationship where I thought like, oh my God, this can be my second wife. Like, this is incredible. And I wasn't even looking for it. It just happened to me. However, recently we just broke up, and it's something that we were speaking about.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, on our first walk with my ex, she told me, I don't think you're ready for a relationship. She knew it. I told her my whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, because I then had a few small relationships. I'm like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for love. And I want to be like, this is so amazing. And you're amazing. Let's go into this. You know, let's jump into this. And she's like, I don't think you're ready. But obviously she
liked you.
I think she loved me right away. Like, it was like this, like, love at first, like, crazy energy. And we went into it and we just jumped into it. However, looking back now, and of course you have to go through being in a relationship and seeing that, yes, she was right. I was not ready. And being out of that very deep, intense love that I just experienced, it's for the first time and I feel like, you know what? You're good in terms of like, you're actually good by yourself.
Yeah.
And being whole
on your own
by yourself, and not trying to, I said, right now I'm not trying to jump into another relationship.
Yeah.
And just being like, hey, it's beautiful. No,
it's
actually,
okay.
I was trying to say, coming from being in that place of wholeness, whether it be, it can be also out of your career, and navigating life from a place, actually, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, I don't potentially need a partner. I don't need
external
this
validation.
And start doing things that are just fun to you. That's when I believe things come into your life.
That's when the beauty comes in. And I think living your life with the glass half full, also, you know, seeing life with the positive side of things, positive things do just tend to come into your life, you know. Life is meant to be effortless and easy. I don't know who's told us that it has to be an uphill battle. It doesn't. That's a lie that we've been brainwashed by society. Actually, life gets really fucking good when you realize that it can be effortless and easy, and that you can have everything you want, and it doesn't have to be difficult. I think when you get into that mindset, if you're trying to create your dream life, you'll get it. Not only will you get it, but you'll get it 10 times fold, and even quicker than you ever expected, because you're living your life in the present moment. You're a whole human being. No one is here that's going to complete you. No money is going to complete you. No partner is going to complete you. Being skinny is not going to complete you either. It's like, you are perfect as you are, perfectly imperfect with all your flaws, but loving yourself wholly. And that is when you really embody your dream life, because you are currently right now feeling like, I'm good. Like, as you were saying, I'm good.
Let go.
Letting go, trusting, and viewing yourself as whole and complete in the messiness that life is. Because life is messy.
And very beautiful.
And beautiful. And you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And that's such a gift to not know that you're going to get
have a duck.
hit by a duck on a bike. So there we go. Yeah, Alex, thank you so much for coming on. You're such an inspiration to me. And if you want to follow Alex on Instagram and follow Intelligent Change on Instagram too. They have amazing products which can actually help you get on that journey of self-discovery and creating your dream life. You know, we have the life designer, what's the good year journal? The best year journal. There we go. The best year ever. I actually did say this is going to be the best year of my life, and it already is. 3 months in.
Sounds like it.
Best year of my life so far. So yeah, Alex Ikonn, Ikonn. And yeah, if you really love this episode, please share it on your Instagram story. I will repost it. We'll both repost it. And if you think this episode could also help one of your friends who's going through a difficult time, who also wants to create their dream life, send it to them. And maybe it could impact their day in a positive way. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you for coming on and being amazing.
Thank you.
And I hope you recover from your duck injury.
Maybe I won't.